What's up everyone, it's Gaijin Gamer here, back with episode 2 of How to Be a Noob in King's Raid 2021. Today, we'll be covering all of the ins and outs of the reroll process in King's Raid and why you should do it, as well as why you should not wait until the anniversary to start your account and start playing as soon as possible right now. So without further ado, we'll just kind of jump into the reroll process, and I'll show you the ins and outs of what you may want to look for, as well as some other things that you may want to keep your eye out for or may not know, because there's a lot of things that I didn't know that I wish I would have when just starting out to King's Raid. So as you can see, we're just going to be hopping in here to the first part of the reroll process. We'll go through a little story event. We'll have to clear the first 3 missions, and then we will begin the reroll process from there. I'm just going to kind of skip ahead just so you can see what it'll look like when you're finished with your reroll and have the ability to kind of roll your account and what to look for future reference. A few tips I want to give while you're doing the first 3 quests just to expedite the process as fast as possible is a few things. Skip as much of the cutscenes as possible, as well as save Cleo's AoE skills and Frey's AoE skills for the last boss battles if possible. And I'll kind of show you what I mean right here. As you can see, we're in wave 1 of 2. We want to save the AoE abilities of both Cleo and Frey, which is the S3 for Frey, which is right here, and the S3 and 4 for Chloe, which are the last 2 skills of Chloe here, or Cleo, my apologies, right here and here for this last battle. So we'll just tap this, and then the whole wave is dead. Now this saves about maybe 5 to 10 seconds and should be used on stages 1, 2, and 3 on the last battles when possible. You can see we've just finished chapter 1-3, and this is where the rerolls begin. So it's going to allow us to see our heroes. As we click through it, we got our inventory, as well as the special shop's been unlocked. Now here we'll get our little beginner rewards, which both Celine and Lorraine are great heroes, as well as potentially getting some in-game items. Depending on when you decide to reroll, you'll get some goodies, which right now is honestly not the best time. We don't really have a lot of goodies in the mail per se, and you might be wondering, well, Gaijin, why are you telling me not to wait till March 9th when the anniversary starts? I mean, why would I want to reroll now? Isn't that just wasting my time? Well, no, for a few reasons. The number one reason is the Shockmay special dungeon right here in town. Now, I don't know how much longer he'll be here. I believe it is until March 9th. So if you're playing, if you watch this video before March 9th, try to get in there as fast as possible so you can get yourself a free Shockmay hero before the anniversary starts. Otherwise, you'll have to buy the hero with your T5, selector, potentially, which I don't recommend because you should be getting a DPS, or in the inn, or potentially buy him with buy him pay to win, essentially. He's a great tank for physical teams, and honestly, like if you got him, you can also use him on a magical team as well. He's just a great tank all around and a solid unit to have. So as you can see through all of these event dungeons, what I like to do is just turn on the auto mode up in the top left and the 1.5 times speed. It's good to watch through the stories if you haven't seen it for the first iteration through, but otherwise, as you keep re-rolling, you can just skip these cutscenes as they become quite monotonous. This will get you your fastest progression through these events, and it will get you to the end of the story where you can then get all of the initial goodies from completing the story dungeon. Alrighty, so I just completed the last quest line for the Shockmay story dungeon event, and as you can see, it's giving me a free 5-star hero level 50 Shockmay. Now, there's going to be a similar event during the anniversary where it'll be giving you a Stella instead, but like I said, if you're able to get into the King's Raid prior to the event, or I'm sorry, prior to the anniversary starting, you can get both Shockmay, which is a physical tank, as well as Estelle, who's going to be a physical archer. And that's going to be a great start to your account. I promise you, please do not miss out on this if possible. Not only did, doing the Story of Engine Dungeon give us a free 5-star hero level 50, but it also gave us 90 currency. In this case, it's Blood Moon Fragment. Like I said, for the anniversary, it's going to be thank you letters to Orville. But as you can see, we have 90 straight off the bat, and we are actually able to get a free unique weapon and a free unique trinket for our boy Shockmeh here, and that is a great start to get his kit up and running. So next up on the list of things I like to do when just starting out is A, check your mail, B, if there's a hero dungeon event, as there is right now with Shockmeh, and then 3, we move on to monthly Orville. Now this is one thing that I wish I would have known earlier. Monthly Orville is going to allow us to just go through every one of these storylines like here. If we just click on, let's see, our girl Veronica right here, I'm sorry, and we hit the play button down here, we can just kind of skip through all these storylines, or you can watch them if it's your first time through, and it's going to give us this currency for random unique treasures. Now, after completing all 99 currently of these, or 98, I'm not sure how many there are right now. As you can see, there's tons of heroes in each of the months, so you've got to go through and do them all. I will warn you that this tends to crash your game, so be prepared to restart your client quite often. In fact, I think the lowest amount of restarts I've ever had to do was 3, so I'm just going to kind of skip ahead until I have them all done and just show you a few things once we're done. Finally finishing all of the monthly Orville stories, we can go into our inventory and we can see that we have, into others, we have 8,800 of this currency. However, there's one more step that you need to take after this, and it's going into the missions tab, going to, not growth, but the story section, and then collecting all of these, as we've now seen the maximum amount of stories, thus unlocking the rest of these. And now what this is going to do is going to allow us to roll for 9 random unique treasures. And now if you're re-rolling, it's best to get characters, potentially treasures for characters that you may be using on your team. And I'll just kind of show you what this will look like. Hold on. So now that we've collected everything, we should have 9,800 currency. And we'll just go from inventory, others, yep, 9,800, crafting, others, and then select this random unique treasure skill random unique treasure ticket. You hit the max on that. As you can see right now, we don't have enough gold. In the meantime, we'll skip to the next step. In that case, you'll head down to the special shop and go to package, go to the welcome back tab of the shop, and then as you can see, this welcome back 7-day roll book is free. We'll go ahead and click on that, hit the free button, and it's going to give us a random unique weapon. Now we'll go into inventory and we'll see what we got. So we'll see, this could be a point where you may want to re-roll depending on if you get a weapon that you'd like, although sometimes it's pretty hard to get exactly what you're looking for. So this time we got a Lorraine weapon, as you can see right here. Celine weapon. So that's pretty cool. So next things next, we'll head down to the stories and we'll knock some out until we're able to do our first 10 pull, which will equate to 2,500 crystals. A couple things that you want to look out for as you're doing these quests is, honestly, I think you can just auto with the characters you're given for the entirety of chapter 1, and just make sure you collect these at the top here as they come up with the number of stars completed. Other than that, you just kind of go through all of this and just continue on. You can even throw in Shockmeh to make it a little bit faster as well. So as you see here, I've cleared up to chapter 1-5, and the game is telling me to look in this beginner's raiders jumping orders. Now this is great because it's going to give you a lot of rewards for just completing the challenges that it says, and it definitely goes in order pretty well with the story, so don't worry too much about missing anything, as the game will kind of tell you, and it's kind of logically in order with how you need to progress through the game. But one thing you'll want to do is go to the attendance day 1 and just claim this, because that'll be 300 gems closer to your first 10 pull. Also, if you are linked with one of your social accounts, you can then claim this 100 gems there, and then you'll get the 100 fragments right there for doing your random unique weapon, and then we'll just kind of continue on until we have 2,500 gems. Another thing you'll want to keep in mind as you're going throughout chapter 1 you'll want to make sure you go into your missions tab, go into the guideline over here, and just check out all of the various missions you have. As you can see here, we have the story of Marianne. If you just tend to hit shortcut on these stories, it's going to bring you where you need to go, and then you can skip the story and then just finish that quest just for your SA. And then we'll go back in the missions tab and we'll go ahead and claim all of these rewards, thus giving us closer to our goal, and we'll just continue. As you can see at the top here, 1,500 gems for completing all of the quests here is a pretty big deal, so we'll want to make sure we do that, so just keep that in mind. Also, I just realized that I went into my mission tab, and then the normal achievement, I was able to claim a lot of gold. We're up to 4 million, so I can now go ahead and just craft all those trinkets, like, the treasures, like I showed you before. Go into the craft tab, others, scroll all the way down to the last random unique treasure ticket, hit max, and then craft these, and then we'll use them by going to the consumables, clicking on them, and then opening them all. Now, a trick that I was shown by Twebby, one of the other King's Raid streamers, is after the first one shows you what it is, you can then skip the rest. And then we'll go into gear just to take a look at what we got. And a quick way to just kind of see if it's something you want to use or not is just hover over it and click down or hold down on it. And you can kind of see everything in here. We've got a Jane treasure, Aisha treasure, and as you can see, it has the name, and then that green name on there shows you which character it's for. This one's actually pretty good for Labril. Zera, if you're wanting to run Zera, is pretty good treasure, I believe. Dark Lord Castle, I think this is his best trinket for him if you're trying to run him, actually, so that's not bad. We're actually getting some pretty decent treasures. Gal, always also good for we've got a pretty good physical team. We also got a few magical trinkets as well for Zera, Jane, as well as Neuraxis right here. And I'll kind of explain what I mean by that later. But overall, if you're wanting to run one of those heroes, those trinkets may be good for you, and you'll want to, continue on with your reroll. If not, maybe you want to consider rerolling at that point in time. But usually I like to wait until I get my first 10 pull in to then decide where I want to go with it. Alright everyone, as you can see, we now have 2,500 gems, which is enough for our first pickup summon pull. Like you see up top here, I was able to claim the top 2 rewards as I've gathered enough stars in order to achieve those rewards, as well as if I go into my mission thing over here, I was able to go into guideline and then claim all of the free gems over here. Now, when we do our first summon, it's going to be a very interesting setup. As you can see, we have the starter pickup summon, and that's the one we'll be choosing. And now here, it's going to allow you to choose 4 heroes. And now of those 4 heroes, you will only get unique weapons and unique treasures for those 4 heroes, as well as just the generic weapons and treasures as well. So for for a physical team and a magical team, which we'll kind of go into further in the next video, you kind of want to stick with one or the other. And depending if you're free to play or whaling out, there's different combinations. Like I said, we'll kind of go over a lot of that in the next video. But my first hero I'm going to pick is Shakme, and because I'm going to do that, I'm going to actually pick a physical comp for the rest of my 4 heroes here, just to have a solid solidifying team here. So I'm going to pick Shakme. Actually, I'll just kind of go free to play with this one here. We'll go Frey, Roy, since he's been recently buffed. And now we have a tank, we have a healer with Frey, we have Roy, and now we're missing kind of a support, in which I will choose Gal. Alright, so now after we have completed the selection, and you're kind of satisfied with the heroes that you have, we'll go ahead and pull for it. And we'll see what we got. And at this point, if you don't get a lot of weapons or treasures that you're looking for, at this point is a perfect time to reroll. So we'll see what we got here. As you can see, it looks like we only got one. Okay, we've got a second one. We'll see. Okay, we've got 2 weapons for Roy. That's actually really good, as he is our main DPS in this comp right here. So we'll go into inventory. We'll just go ahead and, as you can see, we've got 2 weapons of Roy, in which case you can, awaken them by using copies of each other and to create a more powerful version of the weapon. So we'll go ahead and do that. And actually, this wasn't a terrible account start. but what will solidify it is actually now that we've kind of gone through the 2500 pull, we like what we have. As you can see in our inventory, we actually have one trinket for Gal, which we'll save, so we'll go ahead and lock that. We'll save this trinket for Lavril, but the rest of them, which is kind of cool, you can go ahead and just grind. And it's kind of hard to tell which ones you may want to keep, especially as a new player. But in my hero guide coming forward, I'll kind of show you what you may want to do in order to, more delineate your initial team. And some do's and don'ts about maybe making a physical and magical team. I personally wouldn't recommend making both at the beginning because it's just going to make one of your team, you're going to have a weak team overall. Maruru, that may have been something to hold on to, unfortunately, but I just went ahead and clicked through that. So we'll just grind Castle's weapon, Celine's weapon, and then we have our free Shakme weapon as well as unique treasure, which we'll go ahead and claim. That's why it's key to potentially start now with your reroll, as these come for free. I recommend this this trinket right here for Shakme for PvE. And then what we'll do, the final step to the whole thing is going to the events tab, as there's always usually events going on throughout whenever you decide to re-roll, or if you're playing the game further down the line, even past the anniversary, which you can go into this event tab. And right now there is currently an event for the Petite Shakme right here. As you can see, we get 60 rolls. We can kind of just go through this real quick until the point where we're able to claim both of these items right here, and I'll just kind of fast forward to that. Alright, and I've progressed in the event now enough times to go ahead and claim these two items here. And what these are they act as copies to either a unique treasure or a unique weapon. And what I'm going to do, as this is like, I'm debating if I'm going to keep this account or not, what I'm going to do, first we have to claim the items. Awesome. And now what I'm going to do is go over and try to upgrade my Roy's weapon to a 2-star. Now it's only a 50% success rate, and if you were to use two weapons it would be a 100% success rate, but I only recommend doing the lowest possible percentage, especially for rerolls. So what we'll do is we'll try to awaken this, and if it hits success, then I may debate keeping this account actually if I was rerolling. As you see, it failed. I would almost certainly reroll this at this point as of right now, because you can always find better. One thing to keep in mind is I always kind of value weapons ahead of treasures, because they're going to give you the most progress into your account. As far as progressing through the various content in the game, weapons are a must upgrade first for every single DPS character. But without further ado, if you don't like your account, then I would go up and recommend going over to game settings, others, as well as one thing I need to mention real quick. If there's coupons, unfortunately there's not right now, but I'll put a link to a good website for coupon codes that may be able to be used in the future. Always make sure to check your coupon codes, which you'll just open this up, type in your coupon code. You can just copy and paste from the website I'm going to link below. Into that to see if any of them are valid, because that'll also be a good thing to check out while you're rerolling as well. But if you don't like your account, instead of hitting the logout option right here, you'll just hit the leave button. You'll type in I agree to delete my account, hit OK, and then we'll go to the title screen. And then from here, we'll just log in again. And it's going to be as if we started a brand new account. It's going to ask this question. We'll hit no to recover, and then yes for start a new account. And from here, we have successfully re-rolled our account. And you'll just want to rinse and repeat this until you get an account that you are comfortable with. Like I said, in my next video, we'll be covering magical and physical DPS teams and who may be the best options for those teams, as well as kind of talk about some heroes. But really, any hero can work as far as your main DPS goes, especially come March 9th, when the anniversary starts, you'll be getting a free 5-star unique weapon as a beginner player. Like I said, that's huge, and it does allow any character to pretty much work for your starting character. So, anyways, this is it for my reroll guide. I'm Gaijin Gamer, signing out.